Contact has been made. Barcelona are also interested in signing Marcus Rashford from Man United. Meanwhile, Como from Italy is focused and still determined to get a player from Manchester United. Could it be Tyrell Malacia? My name is Webb. Welcome to the United Sport, and it's a quick late night update concerning again an interesting story here about a player we first want to see out. And Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it today that after Juve, AC Milan, and Borussia Dortmund, Barcelona too have been informed on the conditions of Marcus Rashford's loan deal. Initial direct contact took place this week between Barcelona and the players' camp, as it was reported, and same as all the other clubs in the early stages, and nothing has been decided yet. Now, that is according to Fabrizio. Now, listen, guys. First of all, for me, this first of all would be a very good thing for Marcus Rashford, because for you, it's one thing to be wanted by clubs like AC Milan, Napoli, Juventus, big clubs. It's a whole different thing to be wanted by FC Barcelona. And of course, the obvious question would be, how would Barcelona meet his wages? He earns a lot of money. Barcelona have been struggling to just Dani Olmo and Pau Victor until they had to do something magical. I don't know what they did, whether they bribed the court or whatever. People are not sure about what happened, but they eventually got able to do it. But perhaps they're having other options, looking at a loan move, because it's what is being discussed. Probably a loan move, I think, would be possible for them and stuff. But for me, to leave Man United and you go to Barcelona, it doesn't really come off as a downgrade. I think any of the other clubs, if Rashford joined any of the other clubs, it would be a proper downgrade. But of course, still going to big clubs historically in Europe, clubs that have pedigree in AC Milan, Juventus, Borussia Dortmund has fair pedigree. So they are respected clubs around Europe. But Barcelona is a proper club up there with the likes of Man United and Real Madrid. And for you to be not wanted at Man United and you go there, I think he would be excited by that. And do remember that the fact that it's his agents who are going around talking to these clubs, it shows you that probably it's up to him. It is him to first want to join this club before then they give the feedback to Man United, then to start conversations with that club. So you probably feel I think, I mean, if he was feeling sad about the whole leaving Man United situation, probably these flattering interests from clubs like us, like Barcelona, will get him feeling important and maybe psych him up again. And the fact is, Rashford failed at Man United not because he's all of a sudden a poor player. It's just because he probably wants to move on. And like he said, ready for a new challenge. He was never happy anymore at Man United, and that's why he was not playing football. Maybe because the team in itself has big issues. And for a player like him, who at some point was world class to earn and warrant a world class salary, they were not up to his level. Probably that's why, he felt, let me give them the attitude so that they get fed up of me. Maybe he felt he never fitted in no more. So maybe that's it. So it's for me, it's not really a downgrade per se. It would be an honor for Rashford to join FC Barcelona, but also it's a good thing for Man United, because Barcelona is a club you can go into talks with, and respectfully, for a player like Rashford, it would be, I think, a serious, mature conversation and the likes. So that is what has just come through, and of course they spoke to other clubs as well. It is said that the agents are in Spain now, so maybe they would go on and speak to others. I don't know who else would want to listen. I don't see him going to Madrid, for example. I don't think they're interested. But the thing with Barcelona and why it would make sense is because Barcelona have always wanted to sign Nico Williams. And because the idea was to have a winger who was going to come and balance it with Dani Olmo, maybe passing through the middle as a 10, and perhaps have Lamine Yamal as the other guy to form. They always have a group, a trio of players who are going to excite, the world, and they build their team. Barcelona always build their team around three players, their best teams at least. So you get a sense they wanted that kind of wing, and the fact that they can't get Nico Williams, who chose to commit to Atletico Bilbao, if they can get Marcus Rashford on loan until the summer, perhaps hoping that in the summer they can be able then to convince Nico Williams to move, because I still think he will at one point give in and join and leave either to Barcelona or Arsenal, who also want him. Rashford would come in and give them a good balance, because he's got the pace, but also we know that put Rashford in a team that plays well with a winger, and he will be, quite unplayable because he's fast. He has shown he can be world class, and he's at 27, so he's even ahead of Nico Williams in terms of maturity in the game and stuff. So you get a feeling that it's a possible logical discussion that can be had between the parties. So it's a good development there. It shows me that Man United won't be stuck with Marcus Rashford, but there is a high chance that we'll get a deal. Whereas it is not ruled out the possibility of him staying. I think I don't think we will fail to find a club with a sensible deal of all those, because these are big clubs in Europe and they should be able to meet all parties somewhere. Then there's a report that has just come in from Italy saying that Como are interested in signing Ciro Malacia. The Como is the club. They're going to be in action against Lazio. In fact, they should be now. I think as I record this video, they should be on. The game started about 4 minutes ago. And they are said to be interested in Tyrell Malacia. I think the approach of Como is more of a bit of a Saudi approach. They will want to sign all these sort of washed out players, if I would say, at the big clubs. Of course, I don't want to say Tyrell Malacia is completely washed out, but the fact that he was injured for a long time and we saw him and his return, he was not really up there. I mean, he's a bit washed out for now. Of course, you can't rule him out. There's a possibility that he can step his game up again and become a world beater and become the player he could potentially become when United were signing him. So, Como are considering that option of signing Tyrell Malacia, according to the report we get from Italy, and we do know that Malacia will be surplus to requirements, especially if United go ahead and sign Nuno Mendes, and already they've signed this young kid Diego Leo. Then there's talk of at least a left back who should come in as a marquee signing. So you get a feeling Malacia might not have really a role to play in this new United. Amorim has given him his chances and seen that, okay, whereas you understand why you're not performing, the reality is you're not performing, so you've got to leave and you make way for players who can perform. So Como are seen as one of the options. Juventus were casually linked with him as well because they want a replacement for Danilo, their captain, who they fell out with because of betraying the club by talking to a rival in Napoli. But would you then replace your captain if you're Juventus? You replace your captain with Malacia, a guy who is still struggling to perhaps get his form again. Quite debatable, but we're waiting to see. So that's a bit of the situation update in terms of players' departures, to be precise. So we are waiting to see. I'm sure we will get more news about this whole Rashford situation and, of course, Malacia as well. But there's also a new update that came in saying that United are advanced, that I think a deal has been struck between the camp of Casemiro and a Saudi club. Now, most likely that club is Al Nassr. So I think Casemiro's departure from Man United is quite imminent. So there could be something happening soon. And you see, the moment Man United seal one exit, a major exit, I think you will you will see something. I think you will start to see things happen. I was listening to Ruben Amorim and trying to read his body language and his facial expressions and stuff, and you get a sense he feels like something will be really done. And I think this must have been a promise that Ineos made to him when they were convincing him to drop the sporting job and come in mid-season, yet he wanted to wait until the end of the season and have a pre-season. So you get a feeling that we could be up to something this January. Well, let's wait and see. United always makes deals in January. I told you in my earlier videos, my earlier video today, early morning, of the big players United has signed in Jan. So you get the feeling that we can still go ahead and make some good moves in this January transfer window. But all that will depend on who leaves and how the wage bill is freed in terms of the PSR rules. So that's where we are. My name is Webb. That's the wrap up of what's happening. But I think it's a big one that Rashford is wanted by FC Barcelona. For me, that's one to look out for. Cheers.